For decades, live sports television operated on a predictable regional loop. Networks broadcast local games to local fans, and cable companies collected guaranteed subscription fees from every household. But the traditional cable model is collapsing. As audiences cut the cord, global tech platforms are executing an aggressive takeover of the broadcast infrastructure. This chart shows the scale of the resulting deal. It breaks down a staggering $76 billion, mapping out the specific financial pipelines flowing from Disney, NBC, and Amazon over the next 11 years. Amazon, NBC, and Disney are securing a vanishing commodity, the last remaining guaranteed live mass audience on Earth. This is a total reversal of the league's early history. In 1974, major sporting bodies were modest associations of officials. FIFA, for example, reportedly held just $20 in its bank account. To justify a $76 billion valuation today, the 82-game season is no longer enough. The league is being forced to manufacture massive amounts of new inventory. The NBA is generating that inventory through domestic expansion. Target reticles are already locked onto Las Vegas and Seattle to capture those two remaining territories. Pushing back into Seattle leverages pre-existing demand. The league is capitalizing on a nostalgic, loyal consumer base that has been without a franchise since 2008. These expansions are calculated for economic output. Adding two teams creates exactly 164 new sellable regular season games every single year. This volume satisfies streaming partners. Tech platforms require a constant, high-density stream of live content to fill schedule gaps in their global interfaces. The Las Vegas strategy mimics Formula One, integrating the event directly into the city's hospitality and sponsorship grid to capture revenue from every point of the fan experience. Domestic franchise expansion is a supply chain solution engineered to feed the media deal. However, domestic games are limited by the clock. A game played in the US only generates inventory for evening audiences in the Americas. The league is using NBA Europe to bypass geographic bottlenecks. Events like the 2025 Paris Games provide the physical footprint for a permanent international presence. This is an exercise in time zone economics. Playing live games in Europe creates high-value primetime inventory for the European continent. That inventory connects directly to Amazon's global model, which requires high-engagement content streaming around the clock across every major market. This follows the Formula One blueprint. Aggressively targeting new digital and geographic frontiers has dropped the average viewer age from 44 to 32 and doubled total global broadcast revenue. By conquering the European time zone, the NBA provides live, primetime content to a global market every hour of the day. The NBA has transitioned into a global media and licensing conglomerate. This influx of $76 billion and the creation of new inventory causes the valuation of every existing franchise to skyrocket. This chart shows how the league protects that value. Every new team is required to pay a multi-hundred-million-dollar anti-dilution fee, creating a financial moat that inflates the baseline value of existing teams. Physical gate revenue at the arena now represents a fraction of the income generated by global licensing and broadcast fees. The $76 billion streaming deal has converted the game into a high-volume supply chain, where every expansion team and international match is engineered to satisfy a digital contract. When the NBA signed its $76 billion media deal, the massive contract suggested a period of total financial security for the 30 franchises. Yet the arrival of this capital coincided with a fracture in the league's core infrastructure, revealing deep vulnerabilities in how the game is both watched and managed. Almost immediately, the bankruptcy of Main Street Sports Group and the shutdown of its regional networks left 13 NBA teams without a local broadcast home. On the court, championship-caliber teams generating record-breaking revenues suddenly found themselves unable to maintain their current rosters under a new set of financial restrictions. This influx of money didn't reinforce the traditional system, it accelerated its replacement, surfacing structural shifts that are currently altering the mechanics of the sport. For decades, the regional sports network model relied on guaranteed cable fees from local households. As cord-cutting stripped the industry of those subscribers, the local broadcast loop reached a breaking point. To bridge the gap for the 13 stranded teams, the NBA is fast-tracking a centralized local game streaming hub with a target launch as early as the 2027-28 season. Instead of fragmented regional deals, the league is aggregating these in-market streaming rights, sparking an active bidding war among the world's largest tech and media companies. Major platforms like Amazon and YouTube TV are positioned to host this hub, converting traditional cable feeds into digital, unbundled purchases for local fans. Local sports broadcasting has transitioned from a regional cable commodity into a component of the global supply chains managed by major tech firms. The shift in power extends to the front office. While the new media deal pushed the salary cap to $154.6 million, the 2023 collective bargaining agreement introduced a series of financial traps. The most restrictive of these is the second apron, a $221.7 million threshold that imposes severe limits on team spending. Crossing this threshold triggers punitive measures. Teams are barred from aggregating salaries in trades, lose their mid-level exceptions, and can have their future draft picks frozen. These rules forced the Boston Celtics to trade superstar Jaylen Brown to the 76ers, as holding 2 Supermax contracts under the second apron became a structural liability. Even young stars are feeling the squeeze. Victor Wembanyama opted to bypass over $50 million in his contract extension to ensure the Spurs remained below these punitive thresholds. The Oklahoma City Thunder, currently in a dominant championship window, are now facing an impending cap storm that threatens their roster continuity. With max extensions looming for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and rookie scale increases for players like Chet Holmgren, the Thunder are heading directly toward the second apron restrictions. The massive influx of media revenue has prioritized risk management over the simple accumulation of talent, changing the math of how championship teams are built. For tech partners like Amazon, recouping a multi-billion-dollar investment requires a different model than the traditional cable subscription. Amazon and AWS are launching NBA Inside the Game, an intelligence platform designed to extract maximum data value from every broadcast. AWS's spatial tracking system monitors 29 body joints on every player at 60 frames per second, creating a high-resolution digital map of the game. This data powers generative AI overlays that track defensive pressure, player gravity, and shot difficulty in real time, providing a level of analytical depth previously unavailable to broadcasters. These partners are using the game as a data mining engine, algorithmically converting the physical performance of the players into new forms of proprietary insight. The era of local cable dependency and unrestrained spending to build super teams has effectively ended. The NBA has transitioned into a highly regulated, tech-integrated streaming platform. In this new hierarchy, cloud technology dictates the viewing experience, streaming hubs control access, and financial aprons determine who can stay on the court. The $76 billion deal secured more than just broadcast rights. It provided the leverage to update the operational logic of the sport. The game is now a central asset in a global media supply chain.